Big second round for Terry Norris, totally in command. It's very calm in his corner. Dave, let's see what happened now in the first round in terms of the knockdown.
Well, the outside work of Terry Norris, extremely significant in that round, able to put big shots together from the outside, scoring the knockdown, and he's on the verge of a knockout here.
Hey, gentlemen.
Come on. All right, Tim? Come on.
Round 3 of this WBC Super Welterweight title fight at Caesars. Terry Norris in the white trunks, red stripes. Luis Santana, the champion, in the black trunks. And Luis having a rocky going of it, to be sure, through the first 2 rounds.
Well, you get the impression thus far Terry Norris can have this fight anytime he wants it, which means he should go for it right now, because since his chin has been called into question in previous fights, why not go for it now when you're out in front?
It was in the 3rd round of their first fight back in November when Santana hurt Norris after being dominated in the first 2 rounds. But not to this extent, certainly.
Well, Norris on the outside has been dominant, waging almost a perfect fight. And again, you see the right hand punching down. There it was more level, and Santana stood straight up, and he got caught. Norris would like to rip some hooks to the body and then come back upstairs. And an underused weapon for Norris thus far in this bout is the uppercut. It's there for him.
Santana continues to be at long range. Sometimes he comes in lunges. Should he try to get in a little closer to
He should be trying to bob and weave, Rich. He should really be moving the head, keeping the gloves up high, trying to get inside without paying a major price. Sometimes fighters get stymied when they're outside like that. They get caught into a lull and get hit with big shots.
Now Santana coming forward, but perhaps his best chance would be if he goes down from the right hand. And again, I don't appear to be on the top of the head.
His best chance would be, I think, maybe to fight another night.
It seems that way. Kenny Bayless pulling off the mandatory 8 count. Santana down for the 2nd time in the fight. Here comes Norris to try to apply the clincher if he can.
And you'll see him go right back to that right hand as Santana tries to buy time here. And if you're Santana, what's the difference if they take a couple points away? He's already lost so many points anyway with the knockdown. Try to buy time would be his strategy now.
It's been a long road for Luis Santana, a pro since December of 1981. 34 years old, but taking a bad beating here in this fight from Terry Norris.
First, Norris has him on the end of his jab, and then the good right hand behind it almost knocked him off his feet again there with a straight shot.
Santana missing his punches.
But it is important, when the opponent is hurt, put him away. Norris has had trouble not doing that in some fights here. This fight is simply right for the taking anytime he wants if he puts the pressure on.
Final seconds of round 3. And they fight after the bell, and Terry Norris may have just got himself disqualified again. The round was over. I do not believe what I am seeing here.
That is incredible for 2 fights in a row.
Luis Santana has just been knocked out by an illegal punch after the bell, clearly after the bell, and deja vu, Dave Bontempo. There's Luis Santana flat on his back, and you know they are going to ask for another disqualification.
What could be going through Terry Norris's mind? He can win this fight any one of 10 different ways. He can win with the power. He can win with the boxing. He's all over Santana here. Why, in a fight in which he has already scored 2 knockdowns, would he land a shot after the bell? And this time, Rich, if something happens and if he is disqualified, forget the WBC ordering a mandatory rematch. We get Norris getting a break that way because this time this was flagrant.
David, is not a loud bell here ringside at Caesars. It is possible that Norris never heard the bell. As soon as Santana, who was getting a talking to from referee Kenny Bayless, came out of that corner, Norris went right to him, threw a right hand, and knocked him out.
Well, then you have a good question. First of all, it didn't appear to bother either fighter in the first couple rounds. So why should it bother him now? And at the end, the referee should be there.
This is part of the most bizarre happenstance in a two-fight series between two fighters in the whole entire history of the sport of boxing. It could very well happen that Terry Norris finds himself disqualified again. Luis Santana is getting immediate medical attention at this point. Norris is just beside himself in the ring, feeling that it may happen to him again, no doubt.
This was his fight anyway, anyhow, for Terry Norris, and it would be a gigantic heartbreak for him to have let his emotions get the better of him in this bout.
If he was dominating that fight in November, which he lost on an illegal blow, he was dominating it to an even greater extent in this fight. Now the referee, Kenny Bayless, Mark Radner, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission is going to have to come up, and the WBC will have to come up with some kind of rule.
It depends on what they call. Depends on what they saw. And they all agree it was flagrant after the bell. Now it's one thing to see it. The other thing is it has to be called.
Jose Suleiman, the president of the World Boxing Council, is ringside. Terry Norris is obviously very, very upset. While over in the corner, Luis Santana is still stretched, flat on his back, much the same way that he was November 12th in Mexico City after he was struck an illegal blow by Norris. This was not a foul punch in the terms that it landed as a rabbit punch or behind the head.
Not behind the head, it was simply late.
And he is getting oxygen put on now, and we can only hope the best at this point for Luis Santana, who is getting much more medical attention now than he did in November in Mexico City. But that was a clean shot, Dave, that landed well after the bell. The troubling look at the champion coming in, Luis Santana, as he is wheeled out on the stretcher to the locker room. Oxygen mask on, Dave, and that's always a very troubling thing when you see that. Still no announcement as to whether Santana is the champion, whether Norris is the champion, whether the fight will be declared no contest.
In which case, then, he would maintain the title.
Here's the decision now from Jimmy Lennon.
Has been stopped at the end of round number 3. The bout has been stopped due to an illegal blow which occurred after the bell had sounded. Therefore, the winner by way of disqualification and still champion, Luis Cucuso Santana.
Well, it is almost incredible, Dave.
How do you get disqualified 2 fights in a row against the same opponent in basically the same manner? To essentially have scored 2 knockouts and have 2 losses
Vaden all of a sudden doesn't look too bad right now, but it's Terry the aggressor, and Terry landing more punches throughout the course of the 8th round. We're coming up to the closing bell of the 8th. Norris doesn't want to let him continue it now. And now let's see if Vaden can do what Jimmy Montoya said and say, start backing up Terry. This is the 9th round. It's scheduled for 12. And it's been all Terry Norris to this point. And this WBC super welterweight, IBF junior middleweight, 154-pound unification match. First one since the original Chiquita Gonzalez-Michael Carbajal fight dating back to March of 1993. And there's always excitement when they unify titles. And if you think this is going to be exciting, wait until Mike Tyson begins it in the heavyweight division. You'll see Mike in action very shortly against Buster Mathis Jr. That's the main event coming up a little bit later on. Right now, we're in the 9th round of a fight that has been all Terry Norris to this point. It's been Norris giving Paul Vaden a boxing lesson. And Paul, although he wants it bad, just can't seem to deal with the movement of Terry. And when Terry gets very aggressive, Paul has gone back on the ropes and tried to catch. Terry has been effective. There's a long right hand that gets through that time. Vaden short with his. Terry with his bouncing movement makes him miss. He ducks underneath the left hand of Paul Vaden. Vaden has a look in his face of frustration as his jaw hangs down, and you can see the frustration in his eyes. Meanwhile, Terry Norris up on his toes, bouncing around left and then back right. He throws the left hand out, which is a little short. Right hand digs to the body below the heart underneath that elbow of Vaden. It's been there all night. Vaden's body has taken a lot of punishment in this fight. And every time Terry waves that hand out, the crowd doesn't like it, but it's been effective in distracting Paul Vaden to the point where Terry has landed some pretty good right hands. Vaden hasn't been down. In fact, Vaden not only hasn't been down in this fight, he's never been down in his career. So he takes a good shot. And tonight it's a question of just being outboxed by Terry Norris to this point. We're in the 9th round, and now Vaden tries to pick it up just a notch, trying to get a little bit more busy, but Terry takes it right away from him. Every time Paul wants to mix it up and get busy, Terry takes the play right away from him. Terry with the hands high walks into a stretched out left, but comes in and lands a left hook and then a right hand behind the ear of Paul Vaden. The straight left hand in the face of Vaden. Another straight left in Vaden's face. Vaden backing off now with his back up against the rope. Walks into the right hand. Now watch Terry load up with that right. He'll dig it upstairs if he can. Otherwise he'll go down to the body with a left hook. Look at Terry ducking away from shots by Vaden. Vaden just hasn't seen anything with this kind of ability. Terry does a lot of things that I think we see him so many times in King Vision. He's really showing me what a slick fighter he is against a pretty good opponent and a world champion in Paul Vaden. Terry comes lunging with the left that catches Paul to the right ear. Paul is definitely frustrated by the footwork, the bouncing around of Terry. And pitching a shot on my scorecard. I got him out in front, 90-78, winning every single round. This is the 10th round. It's scheduled for 12. Paul Vaden, who happens to be the IBF junior middleweight champion, had better do something now. And Terry got a little bit off balance that time as he bounced around backwards. All right, Terry Norris in the red trunks had better stay right busy and continue to do things that he's been doing throughout. Paul Vaden wants to take the play away from him as he goes digging with the left hand in the face of Norris. But instead it's Norris right back up on those toes again. Holds the left hand high. Lands the right hand. Paul bounces off the ropes this time himself. And Terry looking for the opportunity to land that big right hand and try to finish this thing quickly. Hasn't been able to land the heavy shot yet. Terry just taunting, visually taunting Paul Vaden anyhow. He's been doing all that left hand throughout the course of the fight to try and distract him. Anything to land that big right hand. This time he goes downstairs, but again, Terry had better not get careless. Carl Daniels found out that it's very, very dangerous to fool around with a guy of world championship caliber when he got in trouble against Julio Cesar Vasquez a little bit earlier this evening, and Vasquez was apparently going to lose the fight, and Daniels way out in front. It looked like he was going to win the WBA junior middleweight championship, and then all of a sudden he walked into a shot in the 11th round by Julio Cesar Vasquez, and Terry Norris had better be sure that the same thing doesn't happen to him, as Paul Vaden is a game fighter, and it was the 12th round in his fight against Vincent Petway when he scored the tremendous combinations that ended Vincent Petway's reign as champion of the world. This is probably the best round that Vaden has had in the fight, but Terry's still scoring and definitely in control. Vaden trying to land shots, but he is short on the shots that he's trying to land. And that has to do with the positioning of Terry, the in and out movement, the side-to-side movement, getting the angles, taking the angles away from Baden. Baden comes with the uppercut, comes back, and Terry just shakes his head. Now, you can't hurt me, he's telling him. He's sending him a message. You can't hurt me. Goes with the right hand lead, then digs downstairs with the body, back upstairs with the left hand, digs below that left elbow, and Paul Baden with the right hand, and there he goes again with it. Underneath that left elbow, upstairs with the right hand, catches him with the left hook, and Baden finally has to come out of his corner. Now this time there's a string hanging from, or a piece of tape hanging from the glove of Paul Baden, and time is back in. As the referee, Rudy Battle, instead of stopping the action, just takes the tape off himself. Bounces that left off the forehead again of Baden, the right hand lead, the left behind the ear of Baden. Baden stands flat-footed in the center of the ring, tries to go with the left, and Terry makes him miss. In the closing seconds of the 10th. Not a big dramatic round for Terry, but I think he's landed more than his Paul Baden. As he backs off, Baden comes forward, then Terry plants his feet. And Terry trying to finish the closing seconds, and he does. Terry Norris, as we go to round 11 here for the unification of the 154-pound division. It's been Terry Norris all the way. I have him winning every single round of the fight by the score of 10-9. Just flat-out boxing Paul Baden throughout. And Baden's a good one. He ought to be good. He's undefeated, 24-0. Never been down in the history of his career. But Terry Norris, in all fairness, has fought a lot better fighters in his career with a record of 40-6 and 25 KOs. He has really been giving a boxing lesson to Paul Baden in this one tonight. It was billed as a grudge match, but it's been a clean fight. It's been just Terry Norris taunting and attracting Baden in, putting Baden back on the ropes, taunting him with the left hand, landing right hand, digging body shots to him throughout the fight. Pace has slowed down just a bit here in the 11th, but it's been a fast pace in this fight, with Norris doing just about as he's pleased throughout the course of the fight. See Terry coming upstairs with the left hand. Again, he's been bouncing around. You see that Terry's up on his toes and bounces around and continues to bounce around. And we showed you in between the 8th and 9th round exactly what we meant when we had the tight shot on the feet of Terry Norris and how many fighters can stay up on their toes like he's been constantly throughout this fight. Every once in a while he'll settle down and plant the feet, and then he'll go and try to load up a big right hand. He hasn't been able to land the big right hand really flush, but he's landed a lot more up on the forehead, up on the back of the temporal area, the occipital area, behind the ear, alongside the ear of Paul Baden, and he's really landed many, many more punches. And that's why Baden appears a bit tentative right now, because he hasn't had any success with Terry Norris. Again, just flat out beating him up is Terry Norris. If he wanted to send a message to Paul Baden, he's sending a tremendous message to him, because he's really doing a job outboxing him tonight. We're in the 11th round. Of course, it's scheduled for 12. It's the championship territory. And in the championship territory, it makes fighters do some strange things. Some guys, it makes them quit when they get to this area of being tired. Other guys, it makes them very, very strong and very, very champion-like. And that's what Terry Norris hopes to continue here through the 11th round, as he's up on the toes, throwing combination of punches. Not too much landing, but that left cut through the right hand grazed the chin of Paul Baden. Baden trying to hold his own here and planting his feet in the center of the ring and letting Terry come to him now. He's been doing that a lot during the course of the fight, but then he gets shell-shocked again, protecting himself. He's held the hands up high across his face a good part of the time in the fight, now that he's fallen into the ropes. And referee Rudy Battle has to separate the two guys. Only a few times in the fight, a fight that you expected to be such a difficult fight for the guys. Paul showing a bit of heart, and you don't become a world champion without heart, and showing some here. It was in the 11th round that he...
Nice. All right, let's touch gloves and have a nice, clean last round. Looking good.
Here we go. Terry Norris in red, Paul Baden in black. At stake, both the IBF and the WBC 154 championship belt buckles.
Nice and clean.
And both of them won it. So far, I've got Terry Norris pitching a shutout, going to the 12th, leading 110-96. It would take a knockout for Baden to win. And that happened once tonight when Carl Daniels was cruising along, leading 97-92 through 10, and all of a sudden, he got knocked out in the 11th round. I doubt it's going to happen in this one, because Terry just appears to be too strong for Paul Baden. Back up on the toes is Terry, swinging that left, trying to distract Baden again. He comes with the uppercut. While with the right hand was Terry, and Paul just standing flat-footed in the center of the ring, allowing Terry to just bring the fight to him. Goes with one of those sneaky right hand, and then the left hand bounces off the forehead of Terry, but it does no damage to him at all. And now Terry backed off and hit for one of the few times in the fight that he hasn't been in the process of throwing a punch. Terry just seems to have the adrenaline going his way. He's got the determination in his eyes. He has a determined look in his mouth. His whole expression is, I'm in control of this thing. I don't want you. I want you bad. And Vaden, on the other hand, has a look of terror on his face. He has a look of a beaten fighter, and he is a beaten fighter to this point. The thing isn't over for another minute and 32 seconds. Well, Terry has really looked tremendous. He's taken the play away from this awkward fighter named Paul Vaden. Paul, a guy with a perfect record, in jeopardy of it going right down the chute with this fight here, because it's been all Terry Norris tonight. The right hand gets through, the left hand gets through by Vaden, but it doesn't do any damage to Terry at all. His left bounces off the chin. He feints right again, comes back up, makes ducks underneath the left hand of Vaden. Bottom of the right hand is the champion Terry Norris. Terry, both of these guys are champs, by the way, as you know. But look at Terry throwing the punches and landing shots. Vaden satisfied to sit back in the ropes. Terry loads up the right-hand cannon, and it doesn't land in exactly the right spot. Vaden has not been down at any time in this fight, but he certainly is a beaten fighter. We're in the 12th and final round of a unification 154-pound championship fight. Vaden sitting on the ropes, trying to get lucky, catching Terry Norris, who has a history of having a chin that can be a suspect, but it's not going to happen tonight. It's all Terry Norris. He digs behind the elbow. He tries to really give you the idea that he wants to end it, but the count is inside of about, well, we're inside of 10 seconds now, so there's going to be no knockout in this fight, because the bell signifies the end of the round and the fight when it sounds. And Terry Norris has just had a tremendous fight tonight. All Terry Norris. I have it scored 120 to 105. Terry Norris, a total shutout. A brilliant boxing show by Terry Norris. When you go in against an undefeated champion and you give him a boxing lesson like Terry Norris, in my opinion, gave to Paul Vaden, that is some credit to a fighter like Terry Norris. In my opinion, he won every single one of the 12 rounds of this fight. A terrific effort, tremendous preparation, and great execution right down the line by Terry Norris. 120 to 105 is the way I have it in my scorecard. Jimmy Lennon Jr., our tremendous ring announcer, will gather the scorecards of George Hill of Philadelphia, William James of Arizona, and Barbara Perez of New Jersey, and they will give us the official scoring. But there's no doubt in this one, no matter what strange things happen in boxing, it can be no other way but a unanimous decision for Terry Norris. This was just, I mean, one of the most brilliant efforts that you could ask for in boxing. A tremendous, tremendous effort by Terry Norris. I just can't say enough about his preparation and conditioning and ability to execute what he did during the course of the fight. Terry Norris really showing the world championship form that is synonymous with being the word champion tonight. And Terry will not only retain his WBC super welterweight champion, but he's on his way to becoming the IBF junior middleweight champion. So he'll hold two of the belts, and will Don King give us the thrill of putting together a championship fight that'll bring out Julio Cesar Vasquez and have a unification again? That remains to be seen. But it just wasn't the night for Paul Vaden. Something was off. Something was wrong. And believe me, Paul Vaden is one of the most likable kids in all of boxing, but it wasn't meant to be. We're waiting for the official scoring, and I'm sure it's going to be a unanimous decision and very heavily in favor of Terry Norris, and I'm sure that he will become and has unified the 154-pound divisions in both the WBC and the IBF. And as soon as Jimmy Lennon has the scorecards together, we will make it official. But it's academic.
You got it.
We've got a unified title, and it's going to be Terry Norris. And all we have to do is wait for Jimmy Lennon, and as soon as he has it, we will have it. And the gentlemen from the WBC and the IBF will be making the presentations of the belt to Terry Norris. Just a brilliant effort all the way. I had it a shutout. No matter what the judges have it, I'm sure they've got to have it close to that, because it was just a brilliant effort all the way by Terry Norris. Jimmy seems to be moving into position, and we should be going momentarily to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Barbara Perez, scores the bout 118-110. George Hill sees it 119-109. William James scores the bout 120-108 in favor of the winner of the unified WBC and IBF 154-pound World Championship, Terrible Terry Norris.
So no surprise there. This Terry Norris, a unified champion. And when you think back to the trilogy with Luis Santana and the trouble he had and the frustrations that he went through, and he hung in there to not only get back his WBC crown from Luis Santana, but now to unify the IBF and the WBC, and the first unification match since 1993 when Chiquita Gonzalez and Michael Carbajal fought. A tremendous, tremendous preparation. Can't say enough for Terry Norris. One thrilled gentleman. And for Paul, I don't know what it was, whether it was frustration. I thought that fight plan was probably accurate, but tonight is a night that belongs to Terry Norris. And if you missed the other 154-pound championship fight, a brilliant effort and a come-from-behind effort by Julio Cesar Vasquez of Santa Fe, Argentina, when Carl Daniels cruising along almost as comfortably as Terry Norris was against Paul Vaden through 10 rounds, and then like a bolt out of the blue got clipped with a left hook, and that's all she wrote. He just couldn't recover from Vasquez's punch.
Hey guys, security. Hey, these guys out here with these addicts. I think you're going to bring me back.
Hello again, everybody. Bob Sheridan back here at the Philadelphia Spectrum in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in the United States of America. You've just seen an interesting unification of the WBC Super Welterweight Championship and the IBF Junior Middleweight Championship, and the first unification match in 3 or 4 years. Terry Norris just totally outclassed Paul Vaden. Not a terrific fight in terms of the competitiveness of it, but the WBA Junior Middleweight Championship fight, the other 154-pound division, and the WBA saw Carl Daniels apparently way out in front in his fight against Julio Cesar Vasquez, and then Vasquez come back and clip him with a shot that ended the fight like a bolt out of the blue, and pick up and regain the WBA Junior Middleweight Championship. So Terry Norris now holds the crown on the WBC and the IBF, and Julio Cesar Vasquez is the brand new WBA Junior Middleweight Champion.